today we are going to discuss about the types of bill of quantities. So bill of quantity has basically two major types. First is the firm BOQ and the second is approximate quantities BOQ. We will go deep into it. Before we start this firm bill of quantity and approximate bill of quantity, I will just reiterate some of the important point that you need to consider all the time. The first is BOQ consists of measured item. As you know that in BOQ, in item description, we mention every item. In every item against we need to provide the quantities. Okay, so these quantities are measured from where it identifies from drawing and the specification. These are two important documents that basically help us to create the bill of quantities. Okay, so based on this measured quantities and the description provided through drawings and the specification, the client submit this invite tenderers or contractors to price for the complete project. Okay, so basically once contractor review all the things and he will price back to the client for the approval of the tender. Okay, the second point is the BOQ has following two types that we already discussed, and now we are going in detail. The first is firm bill of quantity. So the firm bill of quantity is used where design is fully progressed. There is no need for further design, and the contractor is fully aware of his scope, area, location, prices, quantities, everything. Okay, so once these all detail is sufficiently available, then contractor and client is go for the lump sum project or the firm bill of quantity. I am taking you to some of the documents, that is the project document, in which I will just show you what it means by firm bill of quantities and where it is written that this is the firm bill of quantity or approximate bill of quantity. But here if you see that it is mentioned that the subcontractor shall be fixed rate lump sum, means the amount they are indicating here is considered as the fixed rate lump sum. If it is not fixed rate lump sum, it will mention some other terms. So it is very important term that shows that the work is basically total amount will client has to pay this much amount to the contractor once the work has been finished according to the other respective documents. Okay, so this is the amount that contractor need to pay against the work that is agreed by both parties. I will just further clarify that how they determine this cost or any other cost. For example, this is again the same. As you can see that therefore we have been compelled to agree a new lump sum price. So this is again the lump sum price, that is 5,700,000. Okay, so this is basically entitlement for the cost, and there is another entitlement that is very important is time. So you know we have two things, time and money. It is confirmed that subcontractor has no other entitlement in relation to extension of time. So this extension of time is basically talking about the time frame, then from when to when this project will be finished. Okay, so this is the cost limitation and this will consider as the time. I am going to take you to the BOQ. As you know this, now I am taking you to the BOQ, and you always remember that this bill of quantity should always be attached with the contract document so that we should know that how we get the total amount. Okay, so bill of quantity, there are, its format is 100% same. There is nothing changed in the bill of quantity, in which you will see description, unit, quantity, rate and amount. So if you see other type like approximate bill of quantity, you will see the same things. The only difference between firm BOQ and the approximate bill of quantity is that once this quantity is determined, this will consider as the actual and final quantity, and this quantity cannot be changed in any case. Okay, if the executed quantity is less than this, it's mean it is contractor benefit and the risk of the client. and if the quantity is increased, in that case we will consider that this is the contractor risk, whereas client has no risk on it. Okay, so this is the example of lump sum type BOQ or firm BOQ. Now I am taking you to all these points quickly so that we can move to approximate bill of quantities. Quantity must be accurate. See, if quantity is not accurate, it's mean you are going to uh, end up with a disaster. So it is very important to have accurate quantities. Price put at tender stage shall consider as final cost. Okay, so whatever they are mentioned on the contract document amount that we consider at 5,700,000 is 70,000 is 5,700,000 means this is the final cost that client will pay to the contractor. For more clarity, description and quantity cannot be changed, so this will remain same. Okay, and all other things will be automatically same. Okay, BOQ is only used for control the cost. Okay, so we only need to update that whatever the work is executed, and every item we need to consider that will be under the budget and it should not exceed the budget. Okay, chances of fewer variations. Okay, so the variations will be very less because we already agree that this is our scope of work, this is the area where our work will be executed, and the quantities is already measured as accurate, so there is a very less chance of variations. No cost uncertainty, of course we definitely know that, because every detail is already present in the contract documents, so there is a very less chance that we get any uncertainty regarding the cost. Then we talk about the approximate bill of quantity. Okay, so approximate bill of quantity, everything will remain same. The only thing is that the quantity is subject to remeasured. Okay, so when we are preferring approximate bill of quantity, when project is not fully designed, okay, and it is highly impossible or unlikely to understand what is inside the project, and it is called as the unforeseen. Okay, so when the project is not fully designed and sufficient details are not available. Okay, so for example, if there is a excavation and backfill work, and we need to know that we need to go down, and we need to dig it down in a certain level, but at that time it is not possible to know how much its excavation, what kind of soil and everything is there. So in this case they are putting approximate quantities, and later on stages when work is going on executed on the site, the actual quantity will be get into the project. Okay, so I am taking you to one of the examples in which you will understand that what I am talking about. Okay, so here this is a type of contract that is remeasured contract, and initially the BOQ was prepared for the approximate bill of quantities. Okay, so here as you can see I gave you an example of foundation. So foundation excavation is basically measured that the quantity is this much 52,200 cubic meter. Okay, and this is called as the approximate quantities. But when it is executed on the site, it found that the the remeasured quantity is less than what was previously calculated. So the actual quantity is 48,190. Okay, on the other hand, if it is lump sum project, so it's mean that this quantity will consider same like whatever we have here. So it's mean that contractor have to pay, client have to pay 120,000 additional money to the contractor. Okay, so this is because here there is a, as you can see, huge uncertainty. So it's mean that they consider that we need to remeasure this as remeasured contract, and these quantities should not consider as final, but it is subject to remeasured. Okay, then this next step is quantities will be remeasured at completion of the work. So once the work has been completed, hand over to the client. Based on the as-built drawing, the quantity will be remeasured, and that remeasured quantity shall be considered as the final work done. So chances of greater variations, as I show you that there is a huge chance of variation. So here 120,273 difference is a huge difference. So if we are working in firm BOQ, so this will be zero, because we already agreed that whatever quantity is here is the final quantity. Okay. After this, initial cost is lower than the firm type of bill, but remeasurement increase the cost. Okay, so most of the time we have seen that initial cost of the approximate bill of quantity is less, whereas when the project is finished, there are a lot of things that is calculated again and again. So it's mean that there is a higher chance of getting cost increased. Then description of the work and unit rate cannot be changed. Again, the same thing, that description and unit rate cannot be changed. The only thing is changes basically here is the quantity. This quantity need to remain it, and rest of everything will remain same. Okay. So overall admin cost will increase. So what is admin cost? Admin cost is a quantity surveyor or the team of quantity surveyor who is working for this all these things to present to client. Okay, so in case of a firm BOQ, we don't need to prepare a remeasured and present to the client, because to present to the client it's mean you need to provide WIR, you need to provide markup drawings, you need to get the signature of the site team that this work is executed, you need to take the photos, and then you need to provide one by one, step by step quantities back to the client. They will review it again and they will send back to you after their comments. So it's mean there are a lot of steps we need to follow in case of what, in case of approximate quantities. Okay, in other case, in lump sum contract, this all work will be done, but this is for only internal references. We don't need to provide all kind of documents as what we are providing to the consultant or the client. So consequently the administration cost will be increased. So this is all for today's class. I hope you have a good idea about two types of BOQ: firm type BOQ and the approximate bill of quantities.